Good afternoon. So we will see the next type of antenna array. The next type is parasitic array. So antenna array, the antennas array which are used earlier, these are for the improvement of gain and directivity. So the parasitic element is an element which depends on others' feed. It does not have its own feed. Hence, in this type of array, we employ such an element which helps in increasing the radiation directivity. Which helps in the increasing the radiation indirectly. These parasitic elements are not directly connected to the field. So the main structure which is used in the parasitic is nothing but a set of reflector, and the reflector are not electrically connected. They increase the signal strength by increasing the directivity of the beam. The next point in this parasitic array is the construction and its working. So the main parts are driven element, parasitic element. In parasitic element there are two points, reflector and director, and third is boom. So one is the driven element. So the antennas radiate individually while in array the radiation of all the elements sum up to form the radiation beam. All the elements of the array need not be connected to the feed. The dipole that is connected to the feed is known as a driven element. So the parasitic elements, next is the parasitic elements. The elements which are added do not possess an electrical connection between them to the driven element or the feed. They are positioned so that they lie in the induction field of the driven element. Hence they are known as a parasitic elements. Next is the reflector. If one of the parasitic element which is 5% longer than the driven element is placed close to the driven element is longer, then it acts as a concave mirror which reflects the energy in the direction of radiation pattern rather than its own direction, and hence is known as a reflector. Next is the director. So parasitic element which is 5% shorter than the driven element, director. A parasitic element which is 5% shorter than the driven element from which it receives energy, it tends to increase the radiation in its own direction and therefore it behaves like a convergent convex lens. This element is called as a director. A number of directors are placed to increase the directivity. Next is boom. So the element on which all these are placed is called a boom. It is non-metallic structure which provide insulation so that it will not be any short circuit between the other elements of the array. These are all the main elements which contribute the radiation, and it can be better understood. So the parasitic arrays such as here it consists of a driven element, director and reflector, and feed is given through the feeder. The arrays are used at the frequencies ranging from 2 MHz to several GHz, and these are especially used to get high directivity and better forward gain with unidirectional. The most common example of this type of array is Yagi-Uda antenna, and the quad antenna may be also quoted as another example. So we have already seen Yagi-Uda antenna, but here we will see in short its frequency range also. So Yagi-Uda antenna, no, we will see it after some time. So next is the turnstile antenna. Turnstile antenna. So it is another type of the array antenna. The shape of this antenna symbolizes the turnstile, which is used at entrances of few places. This antenna has a wide variety of military application, and the frequency range in which the turnstile antennas operate is around 30 MHz to 3 GHz, while belong to the VHF and UHF bands. Next is the before going to the modes of operation, the two identical half-wave dipoles are placed at right angle to each other and are fed in phase. These dipoles are excited 90° out of phase with each other, and the turnstile array can also be termed as a cross dipole array. To provide the high directivity and several turnstiles, it may be stacked along a vertical axis and are faced. The polarization of these turnstile antennas depend upon their mode of operation. The pair of such a dipole frequently stacked is known as a baby AY. So, the two bays are spaced half wavelength, that is lambda by 2 apart, and corresponding elements are fed in the phase. The radiation produced by the combination of the bay result in the better directivity. Then next is the mode of operation in this type. So first is the normal mode. In normal mode of operation, the antennas radiate horizontally polarized wave which are perpendicular to its axis. Next is the axial mode. In axial mode of operation, the antenna radiates circularly polarized wave along its axis, that is parallel to its axis. Then for circular polarization, the transmitter radiating with a right circular polarization should have a receiver with the same right circular polarization and vice versa. If it is a left circular polarized one, unlike the transmitter, there will be a severe loss of gain. There is one more type, that is super turnstile antenna. So for a turnstile antenna, the radiation power is 3 dB below the maximum radiation of the half wave dipole radiating the same power. So to overcome this disadvantage, the super turnstile antenna is built. The simple dipole antenna in the turnstile are replaced by 4 flat sheet in super turnstile. The design of super turnstile array in such a that 1 to 8 bays can be constructed on a single mast. The other name for the super turnstile is batwing antenna. So the radiation pattern will be similar to the radiation pattern of the two superimposed dipoles. Though it is close to omnidirectional pattern, it leaves a clove-leaf shaped pattern. So we will see the advantages of turnstile antenna. High gain is achieved by stacking. Super turnstile produces high gain output and better directivity is achieved. And the disadvantage of turnstile is the radiation power is 3 dB below the maximum radiation of half wave dipole radiating the same power. And the application for the turnstile is that it is used for the VHF communication, used for FM and TV broadcasting, used in military communication, and used in satellite communication. Next is the broadside array. So the antenna array, broadside array is the array of antenna in which all the elements are placed parallel to each other and the direction of maximum radiation is always perpendicular to the plane consisting elements. A typical arrangement of broadside array is shown in here. So it consists of antenna, maximum radiation, axis of antenna array and maximum radiation. Broadside array is in its simplest form having a number of elements of equal size. The antenna array in its simplest form having a number of elements in its equal size, equally spaced along a straight line or axis, forming collinear points with all the dipole in the same phase from the same source together form the broadside array. So broadside array consists of number of identical antennas placed parallel to each other along a straight line. This straight line is perpendicular to the axis of individual antenna and it is known as axis of antenna array. Thus each element is perpendicular to the axis of antenna array. All the individual antennas are spaced equally along the axis of antenna array. The spacing between any two elements is denoted by D and all the elements are fed with the current with equal magnitude and same phase. As the maximum radiation is directed in broadside direction, that is perpendicular to the line of axis of array, the radiation pattern for the broadside array is bidirectional. So the broadside array can be defined as the arrangement of the antenna in which maximum radiation is in the direction perpendicular to the axis of array and plane containing the elements of the array. The frequency range in which the collinear array antennas operate, the frequency range is 30 MHz to 3 GHz. The effect, the antenna array in its simplest form, we have seen this. So next is according to the standard definition, an arrangement in which the principal direction of the radiation is perpendicular to the array axis and also to the plane containing the array element is termed as broadside array. Hence the radiation pattern of an antenna is perpendicular to the axis on which the array exists. So the broadside array is strongly directional at right angle to the plane of the array. However, the radiation in the plane will be very less because of the cancellation in the direction joining the center. The typical antenna length in the broadside array are from 2 to 10 wavelength. Typical spacings are lambda by 2 or lambda and the feed points of the dipole are joined. The radiation pattern of the antenna is bidirectional and right angled to the plane. So the beam is very narrow with high gain. This figure shows the radiation pattern of the broadside array and the beam is bit wider and minor lobes are much reduced in this. So this diagram shows the front view and the side view. The broadside array is strongly directional at right angle to the plane of the array. The radiation in the plane will be very less because of the cancellation in the direction joining the center. Next is the fire. So the end fire array is very much similar to the broadside array from the point of view of arrangement, but the main difference is the direction of maximum radiation. In broadside array, the direction of maximum radiation is perpendicular to the axis of array, while in the end fire array, the direction of maximum radiation is along the axis of array. Now here diagram shows the end fire array. So the physical arrangement of end fire array is same as that of the broadside array. The magnitude of the current in each element is same, but there is a phase difference between these currents. This induction of energy differs in each element, which can be understood by this diagram. So in the end fire array, number of identical antennas are spaced equally along a line. All the elements are fed individually with currents of equal magnitude, but their phases vary progressively along the line to get entire arrangement unidirectionally finally. That is maximum radiation along the axis of array, which is shown in figure. So the end fire array can be defined as an array with the direction of maximum radiation coincides with the direction of the axis of array to get unidirectional radiation. There is no radiation in the right angle to the plane of the array because of the cancellation. The first and the third element are fed out of phase and therefore cancel each other's radiation. Similarly, second and fourth are fed out of phase and to get cancelled. The usual dipole spacing will be lambda by 4 or 3 lambda by 4, and this arrangement not only helps to avoid the radiation perpendicular to the antenna plane but also help the radiated energy get diverted to the direction of radiation of the whole array. Hence, the mirror lobes are avoided and the directivity is increased. The beam becomes narrower with the increased element. So this diagram shows the top view array and the side view array of end fire array. Then the radiation pattern of the end fire array is unidirectional. A major lobe occurs at the one end where the maximum radiation is present, while the minor lobes represent the losses. So this figure shows the radiation pattern of an end fire array. Figure 1 shows the radiation pattern for single array. 2 shows 2, 3 and 4 represent the radiation pattern for multiple arrays. So end fire array versus broadside array. So we have studied both these types, that is end fire and broadside. So both the end fire array and broadside array are linear and resonant, and they consist of resonant element. Due to the resonance, both arrays display narrower beam and high directivity. Also, both of these arrays are used in transmission purpose. Neither of them is used for reception because the necessity of covering a range of frequencies is needed for any kind of reception. So in short, we have already seen the Yagi-Uda, but we will see here as it is a type of antenna array. So it is most commonly used type of antenna for the TV reception over the last few decades, and it is the most popular and easy to use type of antenna with a better performance, which is famous for its high gain and directivity. The frequency range of this Yagi-Uda antenna operate is around 30 MHz to 3 GHz. Then Yagi-Uda antenna was seen on the top of almost every houses during the past decade. The parasitic elements and the dipole together form the Yagi-Uda antenna. So there are many directors placed to increase the directivity of the antenna. The feeder is folded dipole and the reflector is the lengthy element which is at the end of the structure. The rod-like structure on which the elements are mounted is called boom, and the element to which a thick black head is connected is a driven element to which the transmission line is connected internally through the black stud. The single element present at the back of the driven element is the reflector, which reflects the energy towards which reflects all the energy towards the direction of the radiation pattern. The other elements before the driven element are the directors which direct the beam towards the desired angle. So the radiation pattern of Yagi-Uda antenna is highly directive. Advantages of these Yagi-Uda are high gain is achieved, high directivity is achieved, ease of handling and maintenance, and less amount of power is wasted, broader coverages of frequencies. Also the disadvantages, there are some disadvantages, that is prone to noise and to the atmospheric effect. Applications mostly used for the TV reception, and these also used when a single frequency application is needed. सर 114 आउट सर.